Oh. So I'll continue to let people in as we get started. What I'll offer is if you can drop into the chat where you're calling in from. Hi, Marion. Good to see
Hi.
you.
Hi.
Drop into the chat if you can, where you're calling in from. Who knows, you may meet a neighbor or a new friend, which is always fun. And the objective today is to take you through some information that I want to share with you, but how to create radical clarity, but not just once, but ongoing. And what are the tools to cultivate that? How can you use this as your superpower? Because when we drop into clarity, it absolutely becomes our superpower, and there's nothing you can't overcome. The other thing that I know is that, and what's reflected back to me and what I experience, when we cultivate clarity, there's several things that grow exponentially. Our self-worth, which, if you've heard me speak before, you know that I believe is the greatest epidemic on our planet, a lack of self-worth. So you will grow your self-worth. You'll grow your confidence. And you'll be able to stand in your power and say, yes, this is for me. No, this is not for me. Or I'm not clear yet. So you'll be able to contrast when you're clear, when you're not clear, which in and of itself is small, but very vital. So let's drop in, do a quick 2-3 minute, excuse me, meditation so that we can all come into channel, into our optimal personal energy systems. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth as we ground into our planet, facilitating the channel of energy that runs through our body vertically, top to toe. Charge it so that you are interacting with our planet in the way that best serves your energy in this moment. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth as you allow our earth to anchor you. Beautiful. And now drawing our attention to our crown chakra, the top of our head, we connect in with our higher self, our soul, and universal intelligence. And this trifecta of energy and knowledge and being flows into your human body through the crown chakra down your vertical tube, innervating and activating every cell of our body so that we are connected and we have awareness that we are connected, which anchors this beingness in the physical. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth as we acknowledge our vertical tube. Know that it is cleansed, cleared, and activated so that you receive exactly what is optimal for you in this moment over the next hour. And so it is. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and come present to this moment. All right. So let's revisit the information that I shared with you in Radical Clarity, which was the mastermind from June. There are 3 key ingredients that is essential to cultivate when we want to step into radical clarity. Patience. Okay. I hereby admit that this is my greatest opportunity. I am challenged by staying patient. Hey, Lori. Hey, Grace Ann. And I know that when I get impatient, I'm trying to affect an outcome. So cultivating patience is key for gaining clarity. Number 2, curiosity. Don't presuppose you know the answer. As a matter of fact, that is the quickest way to move out of clarity. Be open to whatever wants to show up and be open to being surprised. And have fun, play with it. This isn't serious work. It's important work, but it's not serious work. And number 3, neutrality. Stay neutral to that which you want to know. Don't move into dualistic thinking. Good, bad, right, wrong, yes, no, black, white. Those don't exist. Everything that exists is in the middle. So stay open to the solution being in the middle. Okay. All those make sense to everybody? Great. Now let's talk about the single critical ingredient that every single one of us must cultivate for clarity. And that is intuition. We have, as a society, ostracized our intuition. And over the last 4 years, I will say it's making a comeback. More and more people are looking at intuition as one of the key ingredients for their personal power. And let's break it down, because knowing what your unique formula of intuition is key in cultivating it. So let's look at the different types. First, and I believe every single person on this planet has this, and that is empathetic feeling. Now, I'm going to tell you what I tell every single person I work with. There's a book called Sensitive is the New Strong by Anita Moorjani. Read it. I guarantee you there's something within you that is an empath, and knowing that and being able to work with this gift is important. Being an empath can overtake you. Standing in your power is critical when you're an empath. Knowing what is your emotions and what is somebody else's is vital for clarity, because other people's perceptions, emotions, and beliefs should not influence your decision. Cognitively, You can take into consideration their opinions, especially if they're smart and you respect them. But when you go into your final decision, it's what Scott Shute calls the full body yes. Does your body feel aligned with this? And is your energy clean and clear? And this, I can take us down a rabbit hole of know your energy systems. Know how to clear your energy systems. All of these tools, and I teach this, all of these tools are essential for empaths, for people who start intuition from the feeling place. I think the second most common form of intuition is knowing. You just know shit. Stuff drops in and you just know. Another form of knowing, so this is a good test to see if this is one of your types of intuition. You think of somebody and they call. You think of somebody and they show up. This is a form of knowing. And knowing is a tremendously rich playground. It's my greatest tool, is my knowing. And when you begin to cultivate it, you're going to get random things that become synchronicities and show up 3 days later. It's fascinating. It's playful. It's fun. And you'll hear me say that about every single form of intuition. They're all playful and fun. Then we have seeing. Seeing comes to us in two forms. Seeing with our physical eyes, and this can occur as orbs of light, things show up in your peripheral vision, and you can be, I have one client who she looks into the woods and she sees elves and she sees fairies and she sees these beings. Actually, I have a couple of clients who do, because that's her connection. She can see with her physical eyes. Another form of seeing is when you're in channel, in meditation, your eyes are closed, and you have a screen across your visual field in the mind's eye, and you see films, or you see images, or you see lights or colors, because lights and colors each have their own meaning. Grace Ann, do you have a question?
Is this the time to ask questions, Teresa, or should I wait?
Absolutely. Ask a question.
I didn't know if one of the things you were going to talk about is hearing.
Yeah.
So what I've been experiencing in the last, or experiencing and acknowledging in the last year, is I'm challenged by conversations in front of me and conversations behind me. But literally people talking. And I used to be able either to filter it out through the way my brain operated, or the way my sensory system operated. And I'm wondering if that is part of the empathic, the hearing, seeing, feeling, doing. And I wanted to see if that resonated, or if you had some insights about that, Teresa.
Yeah.
I find myself doing this now, Teresa. I like plug one ear. I don't know why. I plug one ear and then I try to just hear what's being said in front of me with the other ear. But it's interesting to me.
Yeah. I can relate to that a lot, Grace Ann, and that's an absolutely brilliant question. So thank you. Let's jump into hearing. So Hearing sensitivity grows as your hearing intuition grows. So what you're experiencing, well, first and foremost, see a doctor, blah, 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 right? You want to eliminate the physical opportunities there. Secondly, when we have, again, the two sides of hearing are the outward coming in, or the inward being expressed in our brains, right? So again, two sides of hearing. When we cultivate outward hearing, we become more and more sensitive to sound in our environment. And I'll use myself as a contrast. I used to drive down the road and have my radio cranked on whatever station, whatever music I happen to be listening to at the moment, and singing at the top of my lungs. Contrast that to today, I drive in silence. Yeah, my hearing is so sensitive to what is going on in my environment that being in bars, being in restaurants, being in crowds or parties, I find very challenging. I'm also very sensitive. I know this, and I do my best to self-care. So let's seg into self-care for a moment. There's a couple of ways that you can address this. Number one, build a protective structure around yourself. God, I could take this so many places. So we're all surrounded by a bubble of energy. Low-hanging fruit. Take that bubble, coat it on the inside with gold or silver or whatever you're attracted to use as a multiple layer filter for anything that comes into your energy. Take the outside of your bubble and cut it with Teflon, so that anything that tries to penetrate simply bounces off or slips off, just slides down. The more you do this, the more powerful your bubble, your protection will be. Also, having the conversation with yourself before entering into this type of environment. Okay, we're going to be here. We're going to experience a lot of noise. I still like concerts. As a matter of fact, I love live music. And before I go, I preface it by having a conversation with myself and setting the intention that I will enjoy it, it will be fun, and I will not go into overwhelm. And if I do, I remove myself, and I did this when I worked in corporate. I'd go to the bathroom. I'd sit in the bathroom for 10 minutes just to align my energy so I can reintroduce myself into the environment and still be at peace. Grace Ann, does that help? You're welcome. And hearing, again, it can be, I'll give you an example. One of my favorite examples of hearing is I was sitting at Starbucks. I just finished going through an outdoor summer market, and I purchased this beautiful tiger's eye sumac. And of course, it was about 5 feet tall, so I'm not going to carry it around with me. I was going to pick it up before I left. Well, I'm sitting at Starbucks and I hear, "Go get your tree." And I'm like, okay, I'm going. And literally, I ran back to the plant guy, and he's packing up and leaving. He said, "Oh, I didn't think you were coming back." And of course, I paid for it already. And I'm like, "Oh no, I want my tree." I love my tree. My tree is coming home with me. So just because hearing may not be your primary form of intuition, you will have every single one of these, and they will show up whenever it serves you. So knowing, hearing, seeing, feeling, and I'm gonna bring the last two together because they're far less common. And not always fun and pleasant from my experience, and that is taste and smell. So smell is smelling something that evokes an emotional response. And it could be roses are very tied into Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. It could be a not good smell. And the key is there's no reason for that smell to be there. Right? These are random smells, not something that you would normally run into in the environment you're in. Taste is the same. Taste is something exploding on your tongue that evokes a response that is not normal to what you've introduced into your systems. Those are very nuanced. I have experienced both of them. Rarely, they're less common. And my perspective is they require some inquiry. Why is this showing up? When is it showing up? Where is it showing up? So gathering data to determine, why am I running into these types of intuition? So as we go through all of those, which are your types of intuition? Primary, secondary, tertiary, and on. Knowing, acknowledging, giving space for your intuition is how it grows. So let's talk about how it shows up after we answer Heather's question.
I don't have a question, so I'm going to pause. But when I can share an experience that I learned in Alchemy of an Intentional Life, you'll let me know.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Heather. Okay. So know which tool is yours, which is your primary. Cultivate it by acknowledging it. Now, start paying attention to how it shows up in your life. Do you have synchronicities? Do you see things? Do you hear random conversations? Do you experience things in meditation? Find your cultivation and cultivate it, grow it, pay attention, because this is how you will move into deeper levels of clarity. So that when you do have an inquiry, you drop in and you use your primary sense to identify what is your next step, or what is the information you need to contribute back to that inquiry, so that you can formulate a plan of attack, plan of action, an answer, direction for your life. And be prepared for it to be unusual. I'm going to use myself as an example again. A couple of days ago, I went into meditation, and as I do, I cleanse and cleanse all my system, and everything's working okay. And my question is I always begin with, okay, universe, what do you want me to know? And the moment I finished my statement in my head, I dropped into the body of a snake. Now, it's not the first time I've merged consciousness with an animal, but it is absolutely the first time it's happened while I've been in meditation. So the universe was playing with me. They were introducing me into the consciousness of this snake to give me information. Knowing, right? They wanted to cultivate my knowing by introducing a new form of receiving information. So what did I learn? Snakes are content. There is not a lot going on in a snake's life that frustrates or throws them off track. They are happy little snakes. And as I experienced the snake, I could taste, smell, the environment. And it was rich. The taste smell of dried grass, of the earth, of a field mouse over to the left. So again, introducing curiosity when your intuition drops in, and you'll gather information. And what it said to me was, look at your life. You're content. You're happy. Your environment is rich. Abundance exists right in front of you. That's a pretty good message, huh? So, curiosity, patience, neutrality, and acknowledge your intuition. Even if you set an alarm on your phone, on your computer. Oh yeah, intuition. Close your eyes and tap in. Is there anything you'd like to share? Do it a couple of times a day, but at least do it daily. You are going to be blown away at how much your life changes when you do that. I guarantee it. Cue Heather. You want to share your story, Heather, and then I'll drop into channel?
Oh my gosh, I have been wanting to share this story, and you've teed me up, Teresa, with a big capital T. I just, I'm not paid to be here. I come here because I am a devout follower, because I've seen everything that Teresa years ago, I never believed, or even like 6 to 8 months ago, I never believed anything that Teresa just said. I never believed that it could be possible that I could do any of this, and I've done it all. I've smelled poop. I've tasted metal in my mouth, in like the oddest, strangest locations, and I have had this knowing. And I just recently wrote a newsletter to a group that I'm running, and it's the yellow emoji symbol that's in a triangle with an exclamation, and it's been my message of pausing at signs. So a friend of mine recently went on a roller coaster, and I was just taking in that experience of her going on a roller coaster, and it prompted me to recall a childhood memory of going on my first roller coaster. And do you know, I live 10 minutes away from the place, and something came to me that I needed to go, and I went. And as I was there, so that was sign number one, my friend, right? Sensing into it. Sign number two was walking up to the booth to decide, oh, it costs X to go on today, but it costs X to be able to come back anytime and go on. And it wasn't that much more to come back and go on. So I felt into it, and I go, yeah, I deserve to come back and do this more often. So big, full body yes. And the bracelet that I received was in my favorite color. And when I say my favorite color, I mean orange is everything to me in my life. I see orange and my heart opens to the color orange. And here the bracelet was orange. And then I go on the roller coaster, and it was great. And I'm feeling this great feeling, and I'm leaving. And I'm just recalling my first experience of coming to this dragon coaster. And it was on my 8th grade field trip from Dolan Middle School, which is a good 30 minutes away. And in the parking lot of all places, there are no Connecticut license plates, but I find one car, get license plate. I'm in New York, and the bumper sticker says Dolan Middle School.
Oh my goodness.
I could have been in my phone responding to texts. Instead, I was feeling into this moment of pure joy. And it was like, oh, and keep nourishing that part of you. And it propelled me through so many other things that I just stopped and noticed and allowed and gave myself permission.
Yeah.
There isn't this like, oh, big epiphany, like, but it's just the little acknowledgement, like, oh yeah. And you know what? Big things will present itself when I'm in this space of being open allowing and receiving the information to come in. So Teresa, 6 months ago, I never thought it would have been possible. And I've manifested big things this summer as a result. But I share this one little moment because it's the most recent, but there've been many
Yeah.
others. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank-
Heather. I so appreciate you. And it's true. She's absolutely right. It's the little things that create the big things. Okay, I'm going to go into channel. Can y'all raise your hand if you want to ask a question? And I'm going to try and pick people that I haven't answered questions from before. And it can be anything. Come on. Yes, I can feel you wanting to ask the question, Kevin. You can come off mute and ask if you'd like.
I don't know what the question is, but I'm coming to it. And yeah, I guess I'm curious to find a way to orient to even the point of inquiry.
The message that wants to drop in for you, Kevin, is the trajectory of that which you want to create. You are on a mission to evolve as many souls as possible in this lifetime and to merge the human intellect into that offering. And we encourage you to continue and to bring to you those who will support you in multiple facets of this creation. This is not about the same people offering the same information. There requires a diversity of perspectives that is not 100% present in that which you are currently creating. You have a wonderful trajectory that is providing great learning for many, and we encourage you to expand and grow. Does that complete, or do you have questions that are on your heart?
It feels wonderfully complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue your work. Each of you steps into this opportunity, into whatever is standing in front of you, and we encourage you to continue to move forward. Your being is having exponential influence on the planet. You are feeling it. It is known to you. And you are well supported. The path will ease somewhat. For some, there are a few more hills to climb, but for many, it is becoming less of Heather's roller coaster and more of a gentle hill climb. This is what we encourage. This is what we ask of you. Be your best self. Be everything that you dream of. This is the platform from which we will build the world that sits now in your imagination. Do we have other questions? And we ask that you simply unmute and ask.
I would like to ask about what I need to do to create more access to financial abundance and ease.
The ever-present, oh, hold on, we're changing channels. Thank you for your inquiry. It is one that sits on the hearts of many. Abundance is an opportunity that humans have created for themselves. First and foremost, be open to receive. This sounds obvious, and yet we create, you humans create obstacles that stand in the way of receiving all that is due to you. And also, abundance takes many, many forms. Ask for what you want. If you receive a full body yes, and it is with others, ask for support in the creation of this experience for you. Ask for the thing that you want to appear. Manifestation is a dance. It is a dance of reaffirming what you want, sending it out into the universe responding with next steps to bring into your life that which you want. And then you're allowing it, moving through free will and saying, why, yes, that is what I would like to create at this time. Or you, with free will, may renegotiate or reclaim or clarify or modify that which you want to create. There are far fewer obstacles standing in front of you than you perceive. Say yes, and we know this isn't the answer that slides the check into the account or the money into the pocket, but it is the answer that slides the check into the account and the money into the pocket. Ask, speak it out, and receive that which is yours to receive. If it is yours, the way will be paved. Do you have a follow-up question or inquiry?
The obstacles to receiving, not just in this area of life, but in general. Do you have anything more to say about how we meet those obstacles and dissolve them or move around them? And what blocks our receiving ability? Thank you.
Excellent inquiry. Excellent inquiry. How do we dissolve? How do we modify? How do we eliminate the blocks that stand in front of us? First and foremost, those blocks may be there because it is not for you to receive. Maybe it is there to move you in a different direction. Maybe those blocks are there because they want you to learn or hear or know or feel something that will modify your destination. And we encourage you to have the outside conversations and allow for co-creation. If not this, then what? And when you manifest, always request this or something greater. It allows us to bring to you that which is optimal for you in the moment. And when you run into an obstacle attached to the mental constructs and belief systems, one must acknowledge and reframe or release that belief system. For then you stand in your own way. And this is the part where having the conversation to restructure the belief system is optimal. So the deeper inquiry is, why is there an obstacle? Identifying the type of obstacle, a redirection, a modification, or a self-imposed block. And then asking for the solution to move through the obstacle. And we create these for ourselves, so we learned the obstacles are not bad. They are there for us to elevate our experience. Does that answer your question?
So beautifully. Thank you so much.
And we thank you. In peace and in love, know that we are standing all around you at all times. We support your journey and we love you deeply. This is the most exalted experience one can have. Enjoy that which comes to you and rejoice in the love you create with your communities. Thank you. I hope that was beneficial, and I hope it gave you something to feel into. Today, I'm opening the cart for the alchemy of an intentional life. We begin in September. 7 seats are already claimed. And I do want to keep this a small, intimate group. What you've experienced today is a microcosm of what the next 6 months will look like. It's all about learning, growing through very specific lenses. We're going to look at intuition and we're going to go deeper. We're going to look at manifestation and we're going to go deeper. We're going to look at who we want to be in this life, our values, our vision, our purpose, and what are we doing to execute into that vision so that it comes to fruition. It is magical. And as Heather shared, and thank you, Heather, you will come out the other side a completely different person with a life that you get to design because it comes from your heart. So this is my invitation to you to use your intuition, to close your eyes and say, alchemy, and feel if it feels right for you. And if it feels right for you, email me and let's talk. Let's talk about your experience moving into the alchemy of an intentional life. Because the one thing I learned in the last 6 months of the program is you must be ready. There has to be a foundation to build on. This can't be about fixing your life or making your relationship better or finding the right jobs or anything like that. Those are the outcomes. And those outcomes come to life. Life is breathed into them through your being. So the journey is through the internal landscape. I channeled information on 8/8/2022, specific topics that we will go through, and you can go to my website and learn more. These specific topics will dive us into a place where we can birth a new way of being through these lenses. And this happens every time we have a class. 2 days or so before the class, I go in and start channeling, pulling from the energies from each individual person to determine what does this group of individuals need to get the most out of the inquiry for that month. You're also supported by channeling, which you just experienced. We had 2 different guides come in, which was kind of fun. And one-on-one sessions with me every month. And in addition, I so want this for you that if you email and say, I need help, I'll be there. My purpose on this planet is to ensure that as many human beings have the most amazing experience so that then they can take their energy into the world and start to plant seeds everywhere. It's an extraordinary journey. Absolutely incredible. So I wanted to share just this little bite so that you can feel into it for yourself and know if alchemy is for you. And this is my invitation to you. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And holy cow, I finished early.
Can I just share something that you
Yeah.
on that? I shared it
Yeah,
in the
please.
chat. Yeah, I shared it in the chat. I just want to say that I can't agree more with what you just said, Teresa, and I didn't even know that. I guess I might have just been ready and you sensed it for me, but looking back, surrender was absolutely a part of what I needed to be able to allow doubt. I would say doubt is one of the biggest things in the last 4 months that has faded and almost dissolved completely as a result of doing this work. So one, I just wanted to, you know, share that I'm now absolutely seeing what you mean by that.
Yeah, that's why I believe we get the greatest clarity when we remove the mind. And I do this through driving. I'll just get into the car and I'll start driving so that my mind is occupied with the road, but my consciousness gets to free float. And what wants to come in gets to drop in. So feel into your body, but you have to be aligned. Because there's the two major obstacles, money and time.
And you helped me get there, Teresa. I can't
Yeah.
imagine not doing this with you. I know that we're in a group right now, but I just want to, it was really powerful and you helped me get
Yeah.
there. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's money and time. And time is a human construct. And if you're meant to do it, the money shows up.
And
The vehicle
Tina,
shows up.
I just wanted to comment, my experience in the alchemy course was that whole piece tied around what Heather said about dissolving the doubt and gaining the clarity. And I think so many of us struggle because we really want the clarity, but it's the background noise. And I know that our group really helped me calm the background noise so that I could allow that clarity to come in. And that was just truly transformational for me. Like, I've done a ton of courses, but this one was, my world totally is completely different than where we started 4 months ago.
Yeah. And that's the objective. I want you to look back in 6 months and say, holy shit, that was the most amazing experience I've ever had. And let's keep going, because you all are going to change lives. And my vision is to change the world, but I do that through touching individuals. So this is my form of changing the world. So are there any questions? Is there anything that you all want to ask before we complete? All right.
Thank you for changing the world.
Oh, thank you, Marianne. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right.